everybody looking to see history get made. Early on, the flags, Dan, a little bit a part of the story in both directions.
I disagreed with both of them. I thought the deep ball to A.J. Brown on offensive pass interference, bad call, and I thought that unsportsmanlike with McDuffie, bad call. But it also was Jalen Hurts throwing the ball down the field, a little bit of a change at the line of scrimmage play-wise. And Dotson with the double move, beautiful connection, leads to the tush push. Early success for Philadelphia's offense.
The Dotson play originally ruled a touchdown. If you had him scoring the first touchdown last night, that would have been a very nice one to have. Instead, it goes the other way. This is the series where everything turns, Lewis. Just the total domination by the Philly defense.
Yeah, it's just that constricting nature of the pass rush. Outside in, you see the pocket just collapse. And then as Patrick is trying to move up in the pocket and find outlets, the interior rushers are saying there's nowhere to go, man. And his eyes started coming down. He started missing throws. And these are the kind of results that he started getting.
Well, Domonique, that was it. Sack, pick six.
My guy, Gene Cooper, out here balling from the nickel spot. I see you, big dog. I see you.
And on his birthday, that was his first career interception return for a touchdown. It happens on his birthday. And Patrick Mahomes can't believe it. 17-0 now. Another one. Teddy, your guy, Zach Bond.
The pressure had something to do with it. Tootie got put in his lap, but this guy, probably the best linebacker in the league this year, the season he had. 10 plus 11 takeaways in the season. Great catch.
And then incredibly, we have a minute and change to go in the first half, and the game is over. That's A.J. Brown untouched into the end zone. It's 24-0. Maybe one more chance for Kansas City. Final minute of the half, Dan. This DeAndre Hopkins play, this could have been huge.
This is a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins is wide open. No one's within 20 yards of him, and they just missed. Patrick misses the throw. DeAndre doesn't get the connection. And it felt like if there was any life in this team, you could see it with Chris Jones. That play took it away.
Patrick Mahomes in the first half had a QBR of 1. The digit
That's
1.
Wild to me.
On a scale of 1 to 100, it was a 1, and then it just continues.
Just look again, time and time again, Teddy, the rush lanes look the same. Constrict from the outside. I'm going to try and step up. There's nowhere to go. I get sacked, and he just got beat up.
Saquon Barkley did not dominate the game, but clearly his presence was a major factor.
Defensive game plan in terms of how you deal with Saquon resulted in single receivers down the field, big shots, and there's Saquon out of the backfield. You can't give it to him every play. Nice catch by Saquon.
Still in the third quarter, Dan. How about the 46-yard touchdown to Devontae Smith?
They just get the ball back after a stop, and the play-action pass to take the shot, and the nail in the coffin is awesome. He sees the safety double A.J. Brown, and the throw over the top on the post is awesome. Beautiful protection, but it's a fantastic read and throw from Jalen Hurts.
And then finally, the game is over. Rex, the domination of the Eagle defense perhaps best summed up on this play here.
Oh, this is it right here. It's about mentality. How are you going to beat the champ? You knock them out. That's what the hell you do. That's what we get it. We get the strip sack here, and we got the knockout punch. The 15-yard penalty, who cares? Man, you take it from them.
40-22 is the final, and it wasn't nearly that close. Saquon Barkley and company, Super Bowl champs. Jalen is the MVP. Let's hear from the winners after a dominant performance in Super Bowl 59.
She looked prettier in person, I tell you that. You think about it, it's better in person than it is in Madden, I tell you that, playing as a kid. But it's everything you dream of, and I'm just happy to be able to hold it, give it a kiss, and be world champs.
We're gonna play word play here.
My dog.
Okay, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, what is he?
Dog.
Jalen Carter.
Dog.
Cooper DeJean.
Dog.
Quinyon Mitchell.
Dog.
Defense full of dogs. You're the top dog.
Dog. Dog.
And now you're a Super Bowl champion, man.
Super Bowl champ. This is unbelievable.
It's only the beginning until it's the end, and the end ain't coming anytime soon.
Boy, it's delightful to see him so enthusiastic. Jalen Hurts.
That's the way he is.
He got
I hope
to
he
tell
enjoys it a little bit over the next couple days, man.
No one deserves it more than he does. With all of the conversation that has surrounded him, he stepped up and played huge. Look, the history will show, as I've said repeatedly this morning, that the final score was 40-22. That in no way does justice to how one-sided this game was. The Eagles dominated it basically from the first moment to the last, and as thoroughly as you possibly can. Dan, what was the key?
It's the worst game I've ever seen Patrick Mahomes play. It's the most uncharacteristic I've seen Patrick Mahomes play. The misses, the unsettled, the hurry part of it, and it's a poor performance by everybody attached to that football team under Andy Reid. But to watch Patrick play so hurried and unsettled from the start of the game, that was the big takeaway. This is the first third down of the game. They drop down and they're playing man coverage, and you can see no one's open. But Patrick turns into, I got to turn around and try to make this a run-around game. And this defensive line for Philadelphia played with such discipline and connectivity. That's the first third down of the game, and they challenged them with man-to-man coverage, and nothing's there. This is the start a drive. Okay, you're trying to move the pocket. Kelsey gets beat off the snap by almost a full count there. Instead of getting outside of the pocket, Patrick's hemmed in. But the next play's the one for me that told me this is different. Watch how quickly he leaves to become a runner here. He's going to try to quickly throw the ball at the bottom of the screen. He's running right now. His receivers are 2 yards downfield. I mean, he went to like catch and throw and run in less than 1 second. That told me that there's a high level of discomfort. This is the 3rd and 16 pick. It's 3rd and 16. He knows this. Cooper DeJean just playing in zone coverage. He's reading Patrick. Patrick to not have just the awareness of, you know, he's going to be there. It's 3rd and 16. Even if you got a completion, you're not going to get the first down. And then the second interception. See how quickly he gets off of that initial read? Kelsey's open, but he quickly just predetermines, I'm not throwing the ball there. Reset. The pressure forces the interception. It was just such an uncharacteristic performance by a guy that we say is one of the greats of all time.
Rex, you said it earlier this morning, is that what was you saying about going at the head of the snake or whatever it is?
Cut the head of the snake off, man. I mean, that's what happens. And to me, when you hit the quarterback, the whole team feels it. It happened. That's what happened. Every single person on that field felt it. So when, hey, we got Patrick Mahomes, you know what? They could care less. Yeah. We're going to smash them. And when you smash the quarterback, man, I'm telling you, the whole team, like they lost. Mahomes and all, played with no confidence. Why? He had no chance. He is the leader. The head got cut off, man. The whole body. You got guys dropping passes. You got guys can't block me.
Running for his life.
Chance. Running for his life. And by the way, the defense also flinched. And so, to me, that's what happens. They lost. The entire football team lost confidence. They know going in the game, we got the better quarterback. We got the better coach. Not that game you did it. You got out-coached and your quarterback got outplayed.
You're watching this rip of plays right here, all these pressures. And, Teddy, you referenced it quickly earlier. But in scouting, and in coaching as well, you never want to make 2 moves to correct one problem. Joe Thuney moving to left tackle and then inserting a backup into the left guard position. That's 2 moves to fix one spot, which was left tackle, which was a problem all year long. Eventually, that was going to come back to bite you. And as the competition started to ramp up, it really came back to bite. If you just watch this, they took turns going against Joe Thuney. Oh, yeah. Guys were rotating over there. Jalix Hunt went over there. Josh Sweat went over there. Milton Williams said, hey, I want you to run an ET so I can loop around there so I can get some of it too. This is one of the best guards in the NFL. Just imagine what he's thinking today as well. Yeah. This is a guy who's an all-pro, a perennial all-pro, who went out there and says, look, I had no answer because this is what this game came down to. Yeah. These guys were bigger, faster, more athletic than me, and I was out of position. There's nothing you can do about that. And it's as simple as that.
Almost smarter, too, and I'll say that because I see those plays you're showing right there, Lou, and that's game plan. That's like they're the same move. Like knowing all I want to do was get up there and press Thuney straight back into Patrick Mahomes, and they did it from the other side with Taylor. Sweat had a great game, 2.5 sacks. Everyone that had their turn and took their turn was just pressing the pocket because they knew what it would do. Patrick is so fundamentally sound. He's going to step up, of course, but you've got the tackle sitting there and waiting. It was almost like a trap. It was
that's a great analogy. They set a trap for him. Just come on up here.
All those fancy stuff you go over, Dan. I mean, with all the play concept, but along the defensive line, that's the plan right there. Press, be ready, simple plan,
To your
execute.
point about intelligence and discipline, how many times have we seen Patrick Mahomes make a 6-yard, 7-yard, 10-yard run in these big games? Because this team was not just physical and fast and strong, they were disciplined and smart. He wasn't able to do that. He would step up and get hit. When he would get rid of the ball, there were no missed tackles by the team. They were just under control the entire time, and we saw the opposite discipline on the other side, where you had that unnecessary roughness penalty, hasn't gotten gotten much attention in the second quarter.
Nick Bolton.
Nick Bolton got that.
Yeah.
We're looking at like 2nd and 20.
Yeah.
Unnecessary roughness, first down leads to points. You have Mahomes turning the ball over. We talk about all the time that the way that the Chiefs have won all year long was be conservative, wait for you to make mistakes.
Yeah.
We're going to drag you into deep water where you're uncomfortable, and we are the most comfortable in these high-pressure situations. But they, in these high-pressure situations, were making the mistakes that the Eagles just weren't making.
Teddy, it was interesting you talked about like the plan and whatnot, because going into the game, it felt for me like this was the ultimate X's and O's versus execution bowl.
Yeah.
You know, the Chiefs are the X's and O's team. They're super creative on offense. Andy Reid, Matt Nagy, Spags on defense. They're trying to give you all the different things. And then Philadelphia is just execution. Like, we're just going to out-execute you. And I love scheme more than anybody. The X's and O's and the different ways that offenses and defenses work. The reality that we were reminded, one, the line of scrimmage matters the most in this game. Always have, always will. And two, in the playoffs, this team is plus 12 in the turnover differential. They took the ball away 13 times in the playoffs and only gave it away once. This is a team that is not overly complicated with what they do. When they line up, they're going to take their shots down the field on offense, and they're going to run the football. They line up on defense, they're going to play 1 or 2 coverages, they're going to give you 1 or 2 fronts, and they're just going to physically whoop you. And that was the shocking thing, that they did it.
I think the next phase, as far as the evolution of the Kansas City Chiefs, when you say, look, is this dynasty, is this the end of it? I think the next phase in the evolution of this team is to probably, I would bet you, to go back to some of the basics, which is this. We can't always just rely on Andy. We can't rely on Spags. We can't rely on Patrick. At some point in time, when we come out of the locker room, people have to say, that's the all get off the bus team. We need more of those dudes, because now we have everything else. We have the football knowledge, we have the brain power, we have the greatest quarterback maybe, that the game has seen. But honestly, we need more reinforcements now. Like, they have to get back to being who Andy was when he was early on in Philadelphia, which was, look, where do you think Philadelphia gets this blueprint from?
Right.
He established this back in 1999 when he was hired there. Build it inside out, build it front to back, the same way your
Guys
teams
like
were
Runyon
built.
playing tackle, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Those type of guys.
Runyon and Trey Thomas and those guys.
Yeah.
Shawn Andrews, they need some of those dudes again, and they're going to get on the hunt. They're going to have to go find them.
Rex, in the meantime, we asked a question earlier that we never got back to. And look, Kansas City's not going anywhere. If you have Patrick Mahomes, you're going to be in the thick of it for 15 years. If their dip is winning, going, what about 15-2 this year, and they didn't even try to win one of those games, and losing in the Super Bowl, that's a down year for this team. They'll be back. But the Eagles are young. In most places, they are young. They've got an aggressive and dynamic personnel guy in Howie Roseman, who did an unbelievable job. You just drafted. Half these guys are rookies, it feels like, and Zach Bond's the guy they got from nowhere. Do the Eagles look like this could be the beginning of something, not the culmination of something?
Look at it, the success the last, few years. Remember, we maybe don't feel the same way about the Eagles because last year they got beat, first round of play. They did win 10 games in a row to start the season. So, to me, this thing is all about their personnel is better than your personnel. 100%. They've had the best roster in the National Football League. And, by the way, they're young. The mentality of their football team, they have the formula. It works for us. You know what I mean? Here's a pickup, Zach Bond. Okay, they brought him in as a 4th edge rusher. You know what? Coaching matters. Vic Fangio's a real coach.
Yeah.
He ends up saying, I'm going to put this guy in an off linebacker position, inside linebacker, and all he does should have won MVP, defensive MVP. It shouldn't have even been close. I don't know who the hell votes for this award, but this guy's amazing. Cooper DeJean gets drafted in the 2nd round, should have been a 1st. They always hit. They hit all the time. Why? They don't worry about, I'm filling a need. There is no need. They're going to get the best player. And that's how they hit the draft. That's why they don't have misses in the draft. And so to me, it's that simple. Yes, this team could be their own dynasty. Now, what stands in their way? A team that can do that is multiple on offense, that can run the football with a physicality, and a team that can throw it. A team like Detroit, a team like Baltimore. That's what's going to be in their way, I think.
It's the best organization of football right now. You could say that. It's the best organization of football. I mean, think about it. I don't know, 5 years ago, they paid Carson Wentz a gajillion bucks. I was a massive Carson Wentz fan. And then within 18 months,
That's exactly what I was going to point to.
they draft Jalen Hurts.
We talk about all the moves that Howie Roseman has made, and honestly, a lot of them are obvious, like Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, not too hard. Zach Bond is
Jalen
different.
Carter.
Putting Mekhi Becton at guard, like he's big, strong, and fast. These are easy. The one that was really out there was drafting of Jalen Hurts in that situation. Like that was the one that had Philly fans confused.
A
and
year
people
after
upset.
you paid Carson $150 million.
And that's the type of like aggressive, like we believe what we believe to know. And I don't know what it is that they saw in him, but they were obviously right.
It looks like you're losing a coordinator, right?
Yeah.
You're losing a coordinator.
Yeah, Kellen Moore will be the head coach of the Saints at some point in the next day
So
or two.
that always starts it. I mean, coaches leave. I mean, players leave. But in terms of repeating as champions or keeping things going, it isn't just black and white, automatic like that. Who's going to be calling the plays?
Well, he'll be
next
the
year?
third of their coordinators to become a head coach in the last 2 years, right? You've got Shane Steichen, you have Jonathan Gannon, and now you will have Kellen Moore. All the criticism. Oh, you know what? We're an hour and 16 minutes into this show. I have not said the word Nick or Sirianni yet so far. Let's go back to a moment in time this season where we were having conversations on this show, Get Up, and on our show, Sunday NFL Countdown, about whether or not the Eagles should fire Nick Sirianni. From that point forward, they haven't lost a game that their quarterback finished, and they are the Super Bowl champions. What do we say about their head coach, Rex?
Well, first off, I think, remember, I said there, you know, and said it was asinine to fire this guy.
You did.
Look at his record. Well, I thought we were judging guys on records. All right? You know, I know he was yelling at fans, which was absolutely ridiculous. However, the thing I like about this guy right here, I mean, number one, he has a little Philly swag to him. He does kind of fit that mold, and you can criticize me all you want. You don't believe? Fine. I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove it to you. His record speaks volumes about the kind of coach he is. And the thing that I love, he humbled himself to where it's like, okay, I want to throw the ball over the place. You know what? It's not the best thing for us to win. He placed winning over everything else. He didn't care about style points. And you know what? Neither does his quarterback, by the way, who all he is a winner. But
I'll say who he got the ear of. He got the ear of Saquon Barkley. And Saquon Barkley started believing in that head coach, and Saquon Barkley transformed the leadership of that team, in my opinion. And the change came when, I mean, during all this heat, right, Saquon Barkley ends up coming out and starts quoting Nick Sirianni to the media. And that's when you know you got the player believing in you. And then everyone else is like, look at that. What is it? You can't be great without the greatness of others.
Yes.
Okay, that's the big Sirianni thing that he was pumping last
This year,
night. And Saquon, in the middle of the year, was starting to quote that, and really he backed Sirianni, and that was huge, too.
absolutely.
We're going to lose Domonique to the airport. Give us some final thoughts.
I think one of the challenges of being a leader is that we all assume that leadership looks the same everywhere. And I think I fell into that trap, too. And we assume that no one else is making mistakes because some of the things that we consider mistakes from Sirianni were so public and kind of embarrassing. And like the last Super Bowl when he's talking trash across the sideline, he's yelling at fans. That doesn't mean that the other coaches that we are critical of aren't making mistakes. They just aren't loud mistakes. So, like, he is a great coach. And what that team needed, he had. And this was not an easy team to coach, even though it's very talented coming off what they had last year, what they were going into this year. Like, he deserves credit. And I was one of the people, I wasn't saying that he should be fired, but I was one of the people who was saying that it's reasonable to challenge some of the things that he's had. And I think the thing that I've learned is, like, just because the mistakes are loud doesn't mean that the other coaches aren't having quiet mistakes that are just as impactful. The way that he led was excessive.
One of the things they like to talk about around there is emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
That's a phrase that the owner has used as well. Obviously, Nick Sirianni has shown a lot of emotional intelligence this year to say, hey, look, all right, am I doing what's best for this football team, number one, in terms of how we like to attack opponents? No, I'm not. So we're going to put this offense and run it through Saquon Barkley, number one. And number two, am I helping this team by yelling at fans and having people really get distracted about what I really am, which is a pretty damn good coach and a pretty damn good leader that everyone believes in? No, he toned that down, and look what the result is. You have to give him a ton of credit for all of that.
He gets criticized for coaching great players. Well, I got news for you. Not everybody can coach great players. All right, there's everybody needs players to win. All right? There's some coaches can't win with great players. And Nick Sirianni certainly can win with great players.